Today we are going to start on our backs. So first we'll just roll up into our little ball, tuck our chin, hold those legs in toward our chest. Take a few breaths here. And then we'll release our shoulders and our arms down onto our mats. Knees are still bent here. Take an inhale, feel our spine pressing into our mats, and then exhale, we'll just take those knees over to one side. And inhale, bringing the knees back up to the center. And exhale, lowering them down over to the other side. Good. And then bringing the knees back up to the center. And we'll take this right leg, cross it over the left knee for a figure four stretch, and then we'll dive through that little hole in our legs and hold behind our left hamstring with both of our hands. Think about moving that right knee away from our body, flexing both feet, and just encouraging that left leg to come toward us a little bit. Good. And then we'll release the leg, lower that left foot down to our mats, keeping the cross with that right foot, moving the knee away from us. And then begin to tuck the tail, lift the hips up into a variation of a bridge here. Exhale, hips come down. We'll uncross those legs, knees come into our chest for one breath. We'll move over to the other side. So left foot over the right knee, holding behind the right thigh, hamstring, and slowly and gently just bringing that knee in towards us, but moving the left knee away, getting a little rotation in the hip. breathing into that whole trunk. Begin to feel our backs pressing into our mats as we inhale, keeping that core active. As we exhale, good. Releasing that right foot down to the mat, keeping the cross with that left foot, opening up left knee away from us. Our hands can find a spot by our hips, tilting that pelvis, lifting the hips up nice and high into our bridge, holding this for about 3 breaths. And then lower those butts back down to the mat. Uncross the legs. Bring the knees into our chest one more time. One breath. And then on the next inhale, both feet come up to the sky, flexing the feet, just barely touching behind those hamstrings. Gently encouraging the knees to come towards us. Good. And then exhale, bending the knees. And we'll begin to rock and roll. And come all the way up to seated here. Very good. From here, knees are bent, feet are on the floor. Let's keep touching behind those hamstrings if we would like. Think about really making that back nice and long and strong. Pull the shoulders away from our ears, and then just walking those feet back towards us until we begin to balance on our keisters. Good. Exhale. Let's lower those feet down and we'll straighten the legs. We can even hug underneath of our hamstrings if we would like, but we'll come down into a forward fold. Whatever type of forward fold we are ready for or in the mood for today. Good. And then inhale, we'll come up, bending those knees, holding behind the hamstrings. Find that big, tall spine. Good, strong core as we lift those feet up. Maybe we can bring them a little bit higher this time. Now think about bringing those knees together. Good. Exhale. Feet will come down. Hands will find the floor right behind us, pulling the shoulders back. Inhale. Reverse tabletop. Exhale. Lowering those butts down. Nice long legs here in staff pose. Walking those hips back behind us just a little bit and slowly folding forward. Good. Inhaling, coming up. Nice and tall, bending the knees. And we'll come up into boat one more time. Maybe we can bring those legs up a little higher if we don't want to. We don't have to. Continue to hold behind those hamstrings if we need, or we can lift those feet up, keeping the chest moving toward the knees. We can reach toward those feet if we like, or we can reach up to the sky or somewhere in between. Breathing into that tummy. Nice tall spine. One more big breath here. Inhale. Lengthen. Stay for the exhale. Challenge ourselves just a little bit on a Thursday morning. And then slowly those feet will come back down. Excellent. Hands can come back behind us, pulling the shoulders back, opening up the chest, pressing into those hands and feet, lifting up into our reverse tabletop. Exhale, let's lower down, barely touch our bum, down to the mat. And then inhale, we'll come back up. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling up. Exhale down, all the way down this time to the mat. Knees are still bent out in front of us. Just do some little windshield wipers here with our knees. So inhale in the center, exhale, knees go down to one side. Think about lengthening in the outer hip and in the thigh. Inhaling to the center and exhaling down to the other side. Move with our breath at our pace. A few times. Let's do one more to each side. Come back to the center. We'll bring those feet together. We can, again, hug behind the hamstrings or just begin to lengthen down into a forward fold here. And slowly we'll come back up. We can bend those knees and we'll swing them around. We'll come onto our hands and our knees. Fingers are wide underneath of our shoulders. Knees are underneath of our hips. And now let's tuck that tail just the tiniest of a bit to open up that low back, breathing into our tummy. Lengthening from our tail all the way to the top of our head. Good. And then inhale, let's reach out that right hand out in front of us. And we'll take the left foot back behind. Pointing those toes on that left foot down to the mat so that both of our hips are flat and even. And then as we exhale, let's bring the elbow and the knee together. We'll round in the spine. We can tuck our chin. Inhale, reaching long. And exhale, bringing that knee and elbow down to touch. And inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rounding to touch. Inhale, lengthen. Let's stay here with that reach. And now let's take the elbow out to the side. The knee can come out to the side on the other direction. And then inhale, lengthen. Exhale, bend out to the side. And lengthen. One more time, out to the side. And lengthen. And now this time, let's reach back with that right hand. Find the left foot. Gaze can come forward. Open up the shoulder. Lengthen in the front of that left hip. Little tiny back bend. Beautiful. Just relaxing, releasing that foot, and back to our tabletop. Beautiful job. Let's exhale into a cat, lifting our spine up to the sky. Inhale, cow. Good. One more time. Exhaling, cat. Inhaling, cow. And then again, finding that nice long neutral spine, strong tummy here. We'll move over to the other side. Left hand reaches out, right foot presses back. And now as we exhale, let's bring the elbow and the knee together. Cat style, rounding, and then inhale. Nice and long. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, reaching. Exhale, touch. Inhale, reach. Good. One more time. Exhale. Round and touch. Inhale, reach. Hold this reach. And then we'll break out to the side. And inhale. And exhale out to the side. And inhale long. Moving as slowly as we need to keep our balance, keep the activity in that core, keep the reach right here. And now let's come back with that left hand. Find the toes. Gaze can come forward. Beautiful. Releasing the foot back to that reach ever so briefly and down to our tabletop. Exhale. Round into our cat. Inhale, cow. Good. One more cat. Inhaling, cow. Good. Back to our neutral spine. We'll walk our hands forward just a little bit. We'll reach back with that right foot, nice and long, and then slowly stepping it forward into our lizard pose here. Give a couple of breaths. Wiggle into that little lunge. Good, and then inhale, let's lift up that right hand for a twist. Good, exhale, let's come back down. And then walking our hands backwards for our half split. Toes point up to the sky, hips are back over this left knee. Good, inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Inhale, let's come forward. Exhale back. Good, inhale, let's come forward. Find our balance here. Lift our heart, and then let's let those hands come up to the sky. Good. From here, keeping that nice deep bend in the right knee, we'll bring our hands to our hearts. Lengthen on the inhale, and then we'll take this left elbow all the way around for a twist. And then on our next inhale, we'll unwind. Hands can come back to our mat. We'll step back all the way to child's pose, rounding in our backs, lengthening in those arms. And now let's inhale up to a plank. Plank can be on our knees, or we can come up onto our toes, whatever we're ready for today. Exhale, we'll lower down. And then inhale, let's come up to a little cobra. Scooping that chest forward and then up. And we'll press all the way back to our child's pose. Good, let's inhale up. Hands are out in front of us. We'll take that left foot and bring it forward. Again, a couple of breaths here in our lizard pose. Let those hips relax. Let their guard down. Good, and then inhale, let's lift up that left hand for the little twist here. And then exhale, we'll come down. And then when we're ready, walking those hands back, hips go over that right knee. Left leg is long, and our back is also nice and long and straight. So hands can come to our thigh or to our shin. If we need, we can use the wall or a close piece of furniture or a block. Good, let's inhale, coming on forward. And now exhale, we'll move backwards. Inhaling forward, little lunge. And then exhale back. Inhale forward. Find our balance here. pressing into that left foot, into the right knee. Inhale, hands come up to the sky for crescent lunge. Good, let's bring those hands together at our hearts. Pull the shoulders back, lift the heart. Inhale, we lengthen. And then exhale, right elbow comes all the way around to that left leg for our twist on this side. Pressing into the palms to help open up the shoulders. Keep sinking into that lunge. Breathing and smiling. Good, and then slowly we'll unwind. Hands can find our mats again, and we'll step all the way back, finding child's pose. Hips are low, chests melting down into toward our mat. Let's press those fingers down into our mat. Inhale up into our version of plank, either on our toes or on our knees. We'll exhale, lower ourselves down, elbows to our ribs. And then we can do a little cobra from here, or we can come all the way up into an upward facing dog. And then we'll bend, lower those knees, bend them, press ourselves all the way back to our child's pose again. Even use our hands to press those hips down in towards our heels a little bit further. Drop our head, round in our spine. Good, and now let's walk our hands over to the right. Left hand is going to reach all the way across our body. Just still stay low. And then we'll come back to the center. Stay here for one breath. And then when we're ready, walking the hands over to the left. And then back to the center here. Good. And now let's bring our shoulders forward. We'll come into a small plank at first. Good, strong tummy, and we'll tuck that tail so that we can lengthen in that spine, pressing into the hands, opening the shoulder blades behind us. Tummy is strong. Good. Exhale. Let's bend at the hips and bring those butts back toward our heel. Maybe not quite all the way to child's pose. And then inhale forward. Think about keeping that tummy strong and tight. And then exhale back. And inhale forward. Exhale back one more time. And now this time, inhale, we come forward, tuck our toes into a full plank. Good. Holding that plank nice and strong. See if we can keep everything but our knees exactly where they are, and we'll bend those knees and barely touch the ground. And inhale, lengthen. And exhale, we touch. And inhale, we lengthen. Good. Exhale, we touch. Inhale, lengthen. Good. One more time. Exhale, we touch. Now, as we inhale, we'll come all the way back to a downward facing dog. Let's lift up the right leg, three-legged dog. Reaching that heel back behind us, still lengthening in our back. Good. And now let's bring that knee into our chest. We're going to touch that right elbow with our knee. Good. Press back. Good. And then knee into our chest. We're going to crisscross over to the left elbow. Good job. And press back. Good. Bring that knee into our chest. Let's hover in plank here. 3, 2, 1, and then we'll set up for pigeon. So we'll lower that right knee behind the right wrist, flexing the foot. Left leg is long and soft behind us, but the left hip is coming forward to meet the right. After a few breaths, if we would like, we can walk the hands forward, lower down onto our elbows, or all the way down into a fold. Stay here for one more breath. And then we'll gently help ourselves back up onto our hands. Nice and tall here. We'll keep that right hand where it is. We'll bend the left leg behind us and reach back with that left hand. See if we can bring the heel in towards our keister just a little bit further. Get into that quad. A little shoulder stretch. Still getting the front of the hip. Good. Releasing that foot, both hands find the mat. We'll tuck that left toe back behind us. Inhale, lift and step back. Downward facing dog. Give ourselves a little wiggle here, wag our tails, pedal our feet. Good. And then when we're ready, left leg comes up. Three-legged dog. Reaching that heel back behind us. Pulling the shoulders away from our wrists. And we'll bend the knee, bring it into our chest. Shoulders come forward and we touch the elbow with our knee on the left side. And then press back. And then again, inhale, bring the knee in. We'll crisscross over to that right elbow. And press back. Again, moving as slowly as we need to. Bringing the knee into our chest, hovering in plank. 3, 2, 1, and we'll lower that buddy down. Set ourselves up for pigeon on this side. Left knee is right behind the left wrist, flexing that foot. Right leg is long behind us, but the hip is still hanging out with the left hip up here. Same as on the previous side. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Let things settle down a little bit. And when your body says it's time, we can walk our hands forward down into a bit of a fold, either Sphinx style or all the way chest down toward the mat, or somewhere in between. Let's stay here for one more breath. And then we'll slowly help ourselves up. Find ourselves super tall again. And then when we're ready, we'll bend that right foot. We'll reach back with our right hand. Pull that heel in towards our bum. Beautiful. Let's release that foot. tuck the toe behind us, pressing into both hands. Let's come back to our downward facing dog. Give ourselves our wiggle. Good. Inhale. Let's come forward into our plank. We'll slowly lower ourselves down. Good. Elbows will come underneath of our shoulders here. Forearms and palms press down into our mats as we again scoop our chests forward and then up into our sphinx. Finding that length in the low back, the openness in our chests, and then the softness right there in that tail end. Don't want to clench our butts as we do this. That's the hard part. If we're happy here, we can stay here, or we can angle those hands out toward the corners just a little bit further. Maybe help ourselves up. But still trying to make that scoop in our back instead of just lifting. We're scooping. Keep that low back safe. And then exhale. Give ourselves a wiggle here if we would like. Hands will come underneath of our shoulders. We'll press all the way back to child's pose. Bring those knees together. Butts are over the heels. Tuck the head. Good, and we'll swish the feet over to one side. We'll come back onto our bottoms. And the legs can swish around to the front. Good. And then from here, feet are on the floor. Knees are bent. Again, nice tall spine. Let's see how strong we are as we come up into our boat again. Again. Beautiful. Let's lift the hands up a little higher. If we can get all the way over our head without rounding in the back. Good. And now slowly we're just going to let that back round. We'll lower ourselves down. Knees and hands are still reaching up toward the sky as we come down into a bit of upside down tabletop, if you will. Feel that belly really, really strong. Our back muscles are active and pressing into our mats. And now as we exhale, we're just going to take that right hand, reach it above our head, and then lengthen that left leg out in front of us without arching in that low back. And then coming back to the top. And then left hand reaches up. Right foot comes out. And then back up. And then right hand, left foot. So essentially we're doing upside down spinal balance. Seems a lot harder this way though. Left hand, right foot. Kind of call this dying bug. And back. One more time each side. Really challenge that core. Last side. Beautiful job. Back up. Excellent. Let's lower the feet down to the mat. Knees are still bent. Feet are right by our butt. Hands can come down to our sides. Inhale. Let's lift up into a bridge. And slowly we'll lower our spine back down to the mat. Bring the knees into our chest. Roll up into a ball. Open those knees nice and wide. Elbows come in, and we'll go all the way to dead bug now. Holding the outside of our feet. Shoulders and heads are soft into our mat. Whole spine is pressing into our mats. We'll use those hands to gently encourage the knees to open wide and lower down. And now from here, we're going to keep our hands on our feet. We'll tuck that left foot and hand in towards our bottom, and we'll roll over onto our left side and extend the right leg out to that side. And then coming back to our dead bug in the center. We'll move over to the other side, tucking that right foot and hand, rolling over onto the right side, reaching out with that left heel. And then back to the center. Now let's do that a couple more times each side with our breath. So exhaling out to the side. Inhaling back to the center. And then exhaling out to the other side. Inhaling to the center. One more time each side. And back to the center. Last one, over to the right. And back to the center. Beautiful job. And now let's place those feet, bottoms of the feet together. And we can just lower them down to our mats, knees open wide for our reclined bound angle here. Doing our best to keep that spine on the mat. So we'll tilt that pelvis so we're not keeping a big gap in that low back. Hands can come to our belly, to our hips, or just to our sides. And then we can place those feet back onto the mat, knees come together. Now from here, inhale, let's lift our hips up into a bridge. Let's lift those hips up enough so that our elbows can come underneath and our hands can support that low back. Car jack. And then we can lift up a leg. We can lift up the other leg. We can lift up both legs and come up into candlestick or a shoulder stand here. Using those hands to keep supporting the back, lifting the tail up to the sky, pressing the heels. If this is not on our agenda for the day, we can stay in that supported bridge. Lifting those tails, pressing the heels. Close our eyes so we don't look at maybe some of the view that we are getting, because sometimes our front end gets a little crunched up. One more breath here. And then we can gently release those hands and let the spine just lower one vertebra down at a time. Knees can come into our chest. We'll roll up into our egg. One more inhale here. And then exhaling, releasing down into our Shavasana, finding a position that is comfortable and still. We breathe in and out. And we just be. And when we are ready, we'll deepen our breath. Gently bring awareness back into our body, wiggling our fingers and our toes. Listen to what it is asking for right now. Does it need a wiggle, a stretch, or a twist? It's time we'll roll up into our ball, rock onto our side. We'll help ourselves up to seated. Inhale, lifting our hands up to the sky, bringing them together at the top. And then we'll exhale them down to our hearts with a purpose. I am so thankful that you took time out of your day to join me and allow me to help you through your practice. I wish you a fantastic rest of your day filled with joy and kindness. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much. How are we feeling today?
Yeah, that was great.
Good. Well, have a fabulous day, ladies.